welcome to another banging episode of Africa Rising. Today I want to talk about BRICS. BRICS. Now, BRICS is an organization formed by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, what I like about this organization is like it looks set to rival NATO. Which other block is there? NATO. I think NATO is the biggest rival, so to speak. I'm thinking it was formed to, you know, rival NATO. But having said that, I also feel like BRICS is said to become the new, or not the new, but is said to become the alternative to the UN, because BRICS kind of like has a good concept going. I feel like the way they're selling themselves to the world, because it looks like the balance of power seems to be shifting from the NATO countries to the BRICS aligned countries, especially like the oil, and then obviously China and Russia being in this organization, and they both have one common enemy, which seems to be America, and then Russia holding on to their oil and their gas supply, which is affecting NATO and Europe and America, and then China with they trade wars with America, that's also affecting Europe and America at the same time. You know what I mean? And then Africa is gaining from much of the development that's coming from China, and Africa over the years have been gaining militarily from experience and weapon supply from Russia, and Russia has been involved in most, if not a lot, of the continent's independence wars and stuff like that. But having going forward, right? So economically speaking, BRICS looks like they have everything in place to become the new global superpower, in terms of organizations, because for the longest of times, the AU and NATO have neglected Africa, totally neglected Africa. Nothing about Africa seems to interest NATO or the UN. At best, at most, they'll raise it, send a few dollars, and leave it at that. It's not like, I promise you, if Russia, not even Russia, if Russia had to attack any African country, let's just give an example, Russia. Let's just say Russia had to attack Egypt or Nigeria or whatever. I doubt America would have reacted the way they did to the case with Ukraine, right? Definitely not. Why is that the case? Because everyone is saying Ukraine is white. You understand what I mean? But Russia is also white. So they cannot claim this is like a race war, because it's white attacking white, and then it's white trying to defend white, and then it's white condemning white. You understand? So it's nothing to do with a race at all. It's not a race war. You understand what I mean? So this is simply a political war. Do you understand what I mean? Whereas if Russia had to attack Nigeria or Africa, that would clearly be a race war, turned into politics, or political war thrown into the mix as a race war and all that. But we all know that if it was a white country attacking a black country, nothing would be done about it. You understand what I mean? Just a few, stop that, but nothing would really be done about it, right? So let's talk about the seriousness about BRICS and how BRICS can become a threat to NATO and to the UN. If China and Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa are really serious about this organization growing into becoming a global superpower, like I said, because economically they have everything going for them, right? They've got the backing of China and Russia, which are the biggest, obviously, players in this organization. Not to say that Brazil or India anything small and can't contribute anything. And then you have South Africa. So strategically, look at it like this, right? India already got its nuclear program going for them. Brazil is also looking at developing some sort of, I'm not sure if they're still developing that, but Brazil is actually like a powerhouse, economical powerhouse in South America. India is a powerhouse in Central Asia. And obviously, Russia is a powerhouse in Eastern Europe. China is obviously the superpower in the Far East. And then South Africa is the powerhouse in Africa. So these are powerhouses in their respective right, coming together and forming this organization. So they can rival the UN because, from what it appears to be, they appear to be looking to create a new currency for the BRICS nations, trade, increasing trade between the BRIC nations, increasing technology transfer, increasing structure, infrastructure development within the BRICS countries. And then another thing that has come to light is that there are applications from other countries that want to join BRICS. So if BRICS allows these other countries to join, that means membership to BRICS would be open to NATO aligned countries. And if you join BRICS, it means you'll have to leave NATO, because I don't think you can be in NATO and be in BRICS as well. I can't see that happening at all, because China and America don't agree, Russia and America don't agree. So no one will agree to someone playing that part. But from what we're understanding is that, from what I understand from watching this clip on YouTube, I think Saudi Arabia has applied as well to be part of it. And I think Argentina also has applied to be part of BRICS. So it shows that BRICS is making an impact, you know what I mean, making a dent in NATO's arsenal. Understand what I mean? And it's for sure becoming a threat to NATO. So going forward, if this does happen, I think BRICS is actually a boost for Africa, considering the infrastructure developments going on the continent, being driven by China, obviously. I'm thinking that is a big boost, because it looks like the Chinese are doing more for Africa than the West have done. Even though they say the loans lock in these countries for a period of time, because they know that the African countries can't pay back. And then it locks in, they're going to take control of the ports or whatever the case may be. For me, as long as it's not colonization, for me, as long as it helps to build the country, for me, as long as it creates jobs, for me, as long as as the country that needs that infrastructure receives and gets the infrastructure, and even if they hold on to it for 5 years or 10 years, whatever the case may be, it's fine. But as long as at the end of the day, that infrastructure belongs to the country and then stays with the country, for me, I think it's a win-win situation for everybody, because not every country can or does have the budget or the money to facilitate these infrastructure developments. So if they can't pay back in cash, they have to pay back in kind, because obviously nobody does anything for nothing. It's like there's nothing for nothing, right? That's how the world works, right? That's the capitalist way of doing business, right? Right. So I don't see it as a negative thing, provided that the Chinese stick to the rules of the agreement, and the Africans keep up their end of the bargain. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, in that course of the time, people are going to look at it like, oh, now look, they built this thing and now they're running it and that. Fine. As long as there's skills transfer at the end of the term, and then the Africans take over it, and for me, I'm happy with that. But now, all I want to say is, BRICS, going forward, BRICS looks like the it thing on the in scene. And if it is doing the way, if it's going forward, if it does say what it does mean, or if it does mean what it says it means, then that means very soon NATO is going to become a thing of the past. I can already see countries leaving, like the smaller countries, leaving NATO, wanting to join the BRICS nations, but we'll see going forward how that works out. But for Africa, I think it's a big thing. I think it's a win for Africa. Going forward, I just think that BRICS was the solution that Africa has been waiting for all this time. Going forward, hopefully BRICS brings these hopes and dreams to a lot of African countries and to build the continent as a whole. Peace.